What exactly happened to Carlee Russell, and why is everybody all in an uproar? Welcome to the curious case of Carlee Russell. Let's jose.
Come on, Blaze.
It's the beef for me.
Wah, 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 wah. For your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we live.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Voodoo Doll TV back with another jose, and we're going to talk about Miss Carlee Russell. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with this story, but Carlee Russell is a young 25-year-old African-American female from Alabama who was recently abducted and, by the grace of God, returned home. Now, you would think just hearing that is great news, everything's good to go, but somehow social media is in an uproar, and I kind of understand why. Let's get into a little background on Miss Carlee Russell. So Carlee Russell is an Alabama woman who vanished after stopping on the side of a highway to help a lost child, then returned home on Saturday night, ending a mysterious disappearance that launched a 2-day statewide search for the 25-year-old nursing student. Russell returned to her family's home on foot on Saturday night. Local police were called around 10:45 and transported her to the nearby hospital, the police department in Hoover, Alabama said in a statement. On Thursday night, Russell went missing on I-459 in Hoover, which has a populace of about 92,000. This is located south of Birmingham. After calling 911 to report that a small child in a diaper was lost and wandering along the side of the freeway. Afterwards, she stopped to check on the child and called her brother's girlfriend, who heard Russell ask the child without a response if they were okay, followed by Russell's suddenly screaming and then the sound of the interstate, according to Russell's mother. When officers arrived on the scene, there were no signs of Russell or a child, but they found her running car, wig, phone, and purse containing her Apple Watch and AirPods on the scene. Her return home ended a 2-day statewide search that caught national attention, sending social media into a frenzy as people speculated on the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. After she was found, Russell's boyfriend released a statement on Instagram saying she was fighting for her life for 48 hours and mentioning a kidnapper. Police have not confirmed whether they believe the kidnapper was involved or not. $63,000, that's about how much reward money was raised by the nonprofit Crime Stoppers of Central Alabama for anyone with clues into Russell's disappearance. Following her return, the money has been sent back to donors. Bob Copas, executive director of Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama, told AL.com that Hoover police aren't requesting any payouts on this case. Now, just for some background, about an hour prior to her disappearance, Russell left for work that day at the Woodhouse Spa where she worked part-time, CBS 42 reports. After leaving work, she stopped to grab some Mediterranean food and left to head home around 9 p.m. Police released the traffic footage of Russell pulling over in a red Mercedes to the shoulder with her hazard lights on. Throughout the footage is blurry. However, she appears to exit the driver's side of the vehicle and walk around to the back passenger side. The police arrived 3 minutes later after she disappeared, and Hoover Police Chief Nick DeZaris said Saturday that the department reviewed the video and it's not the greatest in terms of quality, but they will continue to look for all footage and clues. Carlee reported a lost boy toddler in a diaper to 911, and police say they received no other call about a missing child on that day. It is unknown where Russell has been after she vanished, and police have yet to release further details surrounding her disappearance. Police said in a release that they were able to take an initial statement from Russell, and the details of the statement are a part of the ongoing investigation, which is expected to continue over the next few days. In a statement online, the family asked for privacy and a promise to give more details in the future. That was me reading from a Forbes article on the background of Miss Carlee Russell, and things got really crazy, right? So for a long time, or for at least 48 hours, everybody was in a frenzy looking for Carlee Russell. It was all on TikTok. It was all on Twitter. It was everywhere. Instagram. Everybody wanted to find this missing young lady. She seemed like a bright young lady, educated, you know what I mean? Had a future ahead of her. Nobody wanted to see this young lady go missing, right? I think the details around the case is what got some people all in an uproar. And I have some of my own my honest opinions, opinionated facts, if you would like to call it that I'm going to share at the end of the video. But ultimately, number one, I'm happy that she's found. I'm happy that she's safe. She's claiming that she was kidnapped. We're not sure on the details. Even the police aren't, but we'll find out here soon. National News picked up this story, and they had a little to say after Russell was found. And Carlee's parents even got a chance, an opportunity to speak out about some of the details, not really any, to be honest, but just to give gratitude to everybody. And it's kind of a very interesting interview. I want you guys to look at this and tell me what you think. I'll come right back with a little more commentary.
Strange one out of Alabama.
Yeah, the parents of the woman who vanished for 48 hours after calling police to report a toddler walking alone down a highway. Well, they are speaking out in an exclusive interview. NBC's Priscilla Thompson spoke with them. She joins us now. Hey, Priscilla, good morning.
Hoda, good morning. As questions around this case intensify, the family is urging the public not to speculate, saying that it's upsetting to Carlee, and right now their focus is on her physical and mental well-being. That moment you all first laid eyes on her again, what was it like?
To me, I mean, just so much joy.
This morning, in an exclusive sit-down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours. What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. But it's
Last Thursday, police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running, all her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
there were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter and she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her life?
Oh, she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Yeah, she did make it back. All right, Priscilla, so investigators are obviously busy on this case. What are they looking into going forward?
Yeah, Hoda, right now they're analyzing that initial 911 call and also that traffic cam video showing that car driving on the interstate very slowly with its flashers on, believed to be Carlee's car. And of course, they're looking at the evidence from the crime scene, including the car and her cell phone, which was found on the roadway nearby. Police say that they have been able to account for all of her steps leading up to her disappearance, but those 48 hours when she was gone still remain a mystery. Hoda?
Yeah, leaving behind her phone, her pocketbook, and all those things, a lot of things that investigators are looking into. Priscilla, thank you.
Now, immediately following, if we want to go back a little bit, immediately following Carlee missing, her mom made this post, and it basically says, "Friends and family, whatever city or state you're in, I would like to have someone spearhead search parties. Please contact me at," and you see the numbers on the screen, her or her husband Carlos, I guess who that is. "And thank you. We are not receiving any negative thoughts. God is faithful, and Carlee will be found safe and free from all hurt, harm, and danger. Lord, I'm trusting you with my whole heart." She also even went a step further as to asking the police to basically put out an Ashanti Alert. I'm going to let you hear that press conference of how that went, and then I'll come back with a little more commentary.
If it was possible to put out an Ashanti Alert, I believe. Is that something that could have been done when you guys got the notification that she went missing?
So alerts of that nature are handled by Aaliyah, and we've provided all the facts of the case as we currently know them to them for them to review the case. And if they deem that to be appropriate, they will issue an alert.
So basically, the police handed that request over to the correct authorities, and whoever the authorities were didn't think that that was the appropriate cause of action. Now, I think we need to get into the definition of this Ashanti Alert, because I didn't know what it was, but I did find the definition, and basically it reads, "Its alerts may be used when an adult between the ages of 18 and 64 have been identified as a missing individual and has a proven mental or physical disability, or is missing under circumstances that indicate the person may be in danger, or that the adult's disappearance may not have been voluntary, such as abductions or kidnappings." So this is the definition of the Ashanti Alert that the parents were requesting, and it was denied by the appropriate authorities. Why, we're not sure. Maybe there wasn't a lot of facts in the case. I'm not sure exactly what was the reason why it was denied, but ultimately that was the results of that. Now, additionally, there were also a call to officers basically saying that allegedly Carlee had called her parents and she was at this Red Roof Inn. The parents called the cops. The cops met them down there at the Red Roof Inn. I think it was kind of a misunderstanding if it was that particular location or if she was even there. It was kind of a big mix-up. Let me let you hear those radio dispatches, and we'll come back with some more commentary.
71, it's going to be 459 South, mile marker 10. It's going to be a child walking on the, 3 or 4-year-old child walking on the side of the interstate next to her. RP's going to be close by in a red Mercedes sedan with the hazards on. Child's going to be a white male wearing a white t-shirt and a diaper.
42 copy.
754 unclassified complaint, 1466 Montgomery Highway at the Red Roof Inn. The front office, per caller, family members at this location saying they received a call from the female that's missing, Carlee Russell. 754 family members are saying they received a call from the female saying she was at this location.
754 en route.
760 1851.
32, be advised, child now in the area of 3582 currently. The Red Roof.
52 1852.
26 is the responding unit. I just spoke with the front desk clerk. They said that the family is not being hostile or anything like that, but that there was about 6 carloads of people that have just shown up over there.
5-4 copy. Did the front desk have anybody checked in under that name?
Negative, and according to the front desk, the message that the family got did not state which Red Roof Inn. They don't know if it's going to be Vestavia or another location.
Okay, thank you.
52 and 5 and 44 are on scene at Red Roof.
Now, you guys heard that clip with the police officer saying that basically the mom and dad called them and said that she got a call from a Red Roof Inn from Carlee, but they got there and didn't know the location or whatever it was and couldn't quite, I guess, figure out if that was her or not. It's very weird. All of the details and everything surrounding this case, her sudden disappearance and then reappearance back at her parents' house, her leaving all of her belongings, everything on the ground, like her phone, Apple Watch, wallet, purse, everything was left at the scene. It was very weird for me. I'm not going to lie. And it's not that I'm trying to attack this woman or attack these people. I'm just really trying to get to the bottom of it, because I feel like as an audience, when prayers are requested and our attention is drawn to something, then it's a natural reaction to actually have questions about something that just doesn't sit right? And I do know how the media like to create distractions during things like, such as politics and elections and all that stuff coming up. But I just kind of wanted to kind of touch on this and see what you guys thought about this, right? So one thing that was written up was about this case. Says that at 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center received a call from Carlee's residence that she had returned home on foot. Hoover Police and Fire Department responds to the residence where Carlee was located. She was immediately transported by the Hoover Fire Department to UAB Hospital to be evaluated and was treated and released. Detectives responded to the residence and to UAB to take an initial statement from Carlee. The details of that statement are a part of an ongoing investigation which is expected to continue over the next few days, I guess. The article goes on to say Hoover police officers arrived on scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly behind. They located Carlee's wig, cell phone, and purse on the roadway near her vehicle, and Carlee's Apple Watch was in her purse. Investigators with Crimes Against Persons units were notified, and the investigation immediately began in earnest, with numerous leads being followed. Many local, state, and federal agencies immediately offered assistance and provided personnel and other resources to this investigation. No stone was left unturned, and the investigation continued throughout the weekend. So I want to say this. Kudos to the law enforcement agencies, the local, the federal, the state law enforcement agencies for actually jumping on this and making sure it was handled correctly. Many times, and especially very often in the past, we've seen where when women of color or children of color go missing, nobody really lifts a finger. But I don't know if it was the power of social media or if this place or this small town is really just that genuinely concerned. I believe it could be a combination of both, but nevertheless, they jumped right on it and was right there. I'm talking about the response was just amazing. So shout out to law enforcement for that. I do truly appreciate that. But ultimately, it's just like, is this a hoax? Because if it is, then we've wasted a lot of resources for this case. Now, I am not saying this in the sense of, hey, I just don't believe anything about this story. There's something that's very striking and telling about this story. However, it's just something that just doesn't sit right. And it wasn't just myself. There's a whole bunch of people on social media that feel the same way. Social media right now is going back and forth. Some people are saying, hey, as long as you pray for her, that's all that matters, is that she's home. Why are you questioning these people? Give these people an opportunity to figure out their stuff. And I get that. I totally get that. But I also get the other side where people are just like, well, this doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, people begin to question, and that causes conversation. I think that both sides could have a healthy place to exist, if it makes sense. I don't think that it's fair to quiet people down because they have actual concerns and comments and questions. And I don't think it's fair to badger or basically go after these people under speculation, because none of us actually knows what happened, right? So just to get into some of the stuff that was going on social media, and particularly the ones who had questions, comments, and concerns, right? So I ran across a few people that had something to say, and I'm gonna let you hear that, and I'll dip in and out whenever I feel like I need to give my commentary. But let me let y'all hear this, and I'll be right back.
On the freeway at night, going 55 miles per hour. I knew that was impossible. When a person is driving on a freeway, they have no idea what's on the shoulder. If you're driving 55 to 70 miles per hour, it would take you 70 yards past the person you saw. Then did you back up? Did you put in reverse and back up to go way a whole football field back? I was talking privately to some people, and I was like, that don't make no sense. Because the facts are the facts. Once you take the emotion out of it and deal with the facts made no sense. Then Saturday, one of my colleagues sent me the video that they posted, and I was like, wait. So the 911 call said that she saw a toddler, and she was riding the shoulder with her blinkers on for what appeared to be about 60, 70 yards. How? Because all we can go off of the 911 call. How did those things didn't add up. I saw a toddler and I stopped to aid this toddler. Then she's on the phone. She's riding down the shoulder on 459 with her blinkers on. And this is the best part of the video. Like, people were looking at all the shadows and ATVs and all that people came out the woods. That's where you missed the point. The cars near her put on their brights and all of them slowed down.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If you take the emotion out of it, like he said, and just look at the facts, that was very, very interesting because, like he said, she had been riding the shoulder for about 6 or 7 yards. First of all, you're on a highway going between 55 and 70 miles per hour. Even in the daytime, sometimes you don't see stuff until you're like past it, and then your brain has to like recalculate it and say, wait a minute, did I see what I just saw? And if it's something that was significant, like a car wreck or a baby or a toddler, then you probably either come back around or you back up. You'll go to the shoulder and back up. I'm not sure. But, you know, everybody does things differently. But ultimately, I feel like this guy made a lot of good points. And he's an ex-criminal attorney who's now, I guess he does personal injury or whatever. So he's kind of like into this investigative world. So he kind of has a very great background to speak on it, if it makes sense. But he wasn't the only one who had something to say, right? There's this other guy who's a federal agent who chimed in on the whole thing, and he had something to say that was extremely interesting. I'm going to let y'all hear that, and I'll come right back with some more commentary.
And a lot to unpack in this story. So let's welcome now former FBI Special Agent Stuart Kaplan. Stuart, thank you so much for being here. Let's dive right in. Police say this is an ongoing investigation. What are they doing right now to either validate or invalidate her story?
Well, I think certainly if you look at the physical evidence, and I would start obviously with the video evidence of the camera that picked up the car along the interstate. Certainly the camera or the video does not in any way show a toddler near or in any proximity to where she ultimately stopped. In fact, if you watch the video, she actually goes down the highway for a good distance before she finally comes to a stop. The first thing as an investigator, I think anybody could appreciate that if you saw a toddler in the middle of the night out there on an interstate, you would stop your car instantly and get out frantically and try to protect that child. The behavior of seeing the car continue down the highway, number one, is inconsistent with the belief that in fact there was a child along the road. Also, I think you would understand and appreciate and anticipate that other motorists would have made the same observations and would have called 911 or would have stopped their vehicles, obviously to render aid to this child in obviously grave danger. So those are the obvious direct evidence that I would have a problem with. I see this case, unfortunately, more as she may have been involved with someone else, and maybe in order to have an alibi for where she was, I think we may see this case unravel in the days to come.
So, Stuart, how do investigators go about tracking her account, putting some of these pieces together?
Well, the first thing is the cell phone was left on the side of the road. And so, of course, it is my understanding that the phone will not offer any information with respect to after she allegedly was abducted. However, the phone will be of importance to backtrack and see who she was talking to, who she was texting, and most importantly, in fact, we saw the advancement of this technology, the location services that are indicative now in all cell phones, where it can pinpoint with direct accuracy as to where she was at any particular time. They'll be able to go back and see where or whether or not, in fact, there's some validity to where she was coming from. I think they're going to look at that cell phone information, and then, of course, they're going to attempt to interview her and see whether or not the story that was alleged, does it in fact pair up with the physical evidence. But again, that's to be seen. And again, the other obvious thing when we talk about direct evidence is that if someone was abducted, as soon as you would break free from your captive, you would not walk home. You would immediately go to the first person or the first house or the first someone and obviously get someone to call 911 and render assistance to you. This idea that you walked home is inconceivable. It's not believable, and it's not consistent with logic. And so that in and of itself is going to be a problem for her.
A lot of gaps in the story, a lot law enforcement didn't say. We'll await those details. Stuart Kaplan.
So as you can see, this guy's a whole FBI agent, right? And I'm not saying this to say that her story is completely false. What I'm trying to do is get to the bottom of this. And I feel like I have that right. Since she garnered the attention that she got, we have a right to have questions, right? So a couple things that this guy touched on being an FBI agent was that the cameras that night doesn't show a baby. I get it. It was dark. And you can't really see much, but that kind of leads into the idea if you can't see from the cameras, if you're doing 55 to 70 miles an hour, how could you see, right? How could you see a baby on the side of the road? The other thing that he brought out is if there was an actual baby and other people had seen it, obviously other people would have stopped to try to protect the baby, call 911 and all those things like that. Totally true, totally right. I completely get that, but ultimately we have to lean on the side that it was super dark that night. I'm sorry, I'm going to say last night, but that night. And you have to ask yourself, was she the only one who saw the baby? He thinks someone else could have been involved, and I believe so too, because again, like I said, none of this is adding up, but I found it interesting that the phone was left at the scene, and everything of value was left. Typically when somebody wants to harm you or rob you or kidnap you, or I would think that they would take everything because you don't want to leave any evidence behind that the person was there. That's just my assumption. But I mean, I would just assume that a person that's committing a crime like that wouldn't want to leave all that perfect evidence there. I'm sorry. But he did say even though the phone won't be able to tell what happened after the disappearance, it will be able to tell who she was talking to before, all the events leading up. It will be able to ping her location to everywhere she was. And then they're going to interview her and basically see if her story aligns up with the evidence, right? And I think that's something very important that we need to do, because this was a lot of money and time spent on this recovery of this person. And again, if she was really missing for real, then once again, like I said, my prayers go up to her. But there are a lot of things coming out about this that's kind of looking a little weird. And the most important thing he said to me was that she didn't try to knock on the first door that she could find. She basically walked straight home. How far away was the person or the people who kidnapped you? How far away were you from home? And I don't know. We have to be honest, y'all. Your first instinct if you ever got away from a kidnapping situation or in any type of danger is to find the first person you can find to have them help you. not to walk all the way home just in case the kidnappers see you and pick you up again. You know what I mean? So I just find this interesting. This is a lot going on, but ultimately, TikTok took to their, wave and had their things to say about it. There's been a lot of people saying some things. They got some receipts that came out, and I'm gonna get into some of that. I did also want to give you guys a enhanced look. I guess this is without the lights being so dark, right? So you can kind of see a little bit better the cars. The lights are still flashing, but ultimately this is Carleesha's car in an enhanced version of the video that they were showing earlier. And ultimately you still see no baby. You see her get out of the car, obviously, but you don't see much to corroborate a baby and 911 and, or not even picking up a baby. The person that they said that spoke to police said that they didn't hear anything on the other end. I don't know if this could be a psychotic episode. I'm not sure. Other things have been alleged, but we're going to get into that. But I did want to show you guys this version of the video so that you can have something to go off as well and then make your own informed decisions. But let's get into some of these receipts that we found, y'all. It was a lot.
754 unclassified complaint, 1466 Montgomery Highway at the Red Roof Inn. The front office, per caller, family members at this location saying they received a call from the female that's missing, Carlee Russell. 754, family members are saying they received a call from the female saying she was at this location.
So one set of receipts came out and it said, here's the update. She's sticking to she was abducted. Says she was lured into the woods by some people who live in the woods. Described a person with an orange hair balding on top and tied her up and drove her around and put her in an 18-wheeler and fed her cheeses for 2 days and they painted her nails. They kept her on 150 somewhere and somehow she manages to get away and run through the woods to her neighbors until she gets to her house and then goes to the hospital. Hoover got some Ring doorbell footage from her neighborhood and it just shows her walking casually until she gets close to her house and then she starts sprinting and flailing her arms and acting a fool. Now remember, these are all people's opinions. None of this has been verified, in fact, but I just thought I'd read some of this so you guys can hear people's response to this stuff. But there's more. Someone else shared a text thread that says she stole money from her work. Completely fabricated story. Hoover just hit her phone and reviewed the video of the Red Roof Inn of her checking into her room. Oh my Lord, I figured something shady was happening. I just want to know, I'm sorry, did her family know or was in on it? No, they didn't. They tried to deny the Red Roof Inn story as it unfolded because they knew she was bullshit and didn't want the embarrassment. Oh man, that's horrible for her family. They seem like well-off family, but she's gonna get ate alive once those details are public and spread around. Of course, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just mean in general. Somebody says, yep, as she should. This is crazy. After receiving a lot of backlash on Twitter and Instagram from people having questions, this guy wrote, people can have two emotions at the same time. 100% happy that she's safe, plus 100% angry and disgusted that she lied. People were emotionally invested, afraid for their own safety and the safety of their family and friends, gave up hours of their time searching in the hot sun, put up thousands of dollars of reward, and they have every right to express all these emotions. Nobody wanted her to be found unalive, so stop typing that. Just angry about the lie. I'm with this guy. I mean, I wasn't out there boots to the ground because I don't live in Alabama, but it did spark a lot of emotion with people in social media, and people have a right to ask questions, right? There's more, child, there's more. So another person put, Lord, I owe the Hoover Police Department an apology. I'm driving, I'll be back later. So the person from the Red Roof Inn wasn't lying about her checking in. And I get it off of Facebook just like y'all. So don't be asking me no shiz naive, read it. Therefore, we're reading the same thing. It's a secret then. Why is it on here? Captain of Hoover Fire Department. She got caught stealing from work that day, failed out of nursing school and has been on drugs. She had her friend behind her and that's who picked her up. She was with her friend all weekend. The police knew she was safe because she blocked her ex-boyfriend weeks ago and she added him back while she was abducted. He called the cops to tell them half the day before she went back home. She planned to disappear, realized this wasn't going to work. Wild. Listen, again, this is all people saying their piece and their speculations on social media. This isn't me. I'm just reading to y'all what the people said. There's more. This person says, all I'm going to say is this. I had a long conversation with one of the people who were a part of Carlee's search party. The entire town is pissed because they weren't given any updates after she showed up to her doorstep. It's alleged that she went through a breakup with her boyfriend and planned her own kidnapping to get his attention. She was at the Red Roof Inn for 2 days. She called her cousin saying that this was planned and escalated too quickly and she doesn't know what to do. This is the discussion happening in that small town. It's alleged. The town is pissed because they helped search for her. They're saying if anybody is owed an explanation, it's them. I can understand their perspective. I totally understand their perspective as well. If this is true, then I completely understand. Now, the boyfriend did say something. He did post to something, and I guess Hollywood Unlocked, or was it the Neighborhood Talk? One of them picked it up, and I'm going to read that for you. Now, the boyfriend says, I don't even know how to start off this post, but to only say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my girlfriend's life. Also, thank you to everyone who shared a picture, came out to the Hoover Met to help us with the search parties. I'm sorry, y'all, I can't do people with run-on sentences. And who went and proceeded to tell other people about Carlee to bring more awareness to her story. I have been going nonstop since I received the call that she was missing on Thursday night. I know she would have done, I guess he's going to say the same. Yep, I was right. The same for me. So I wasn't going to give up until I saw her face again. I was straight tunnel vision, even when I would get on social media on my downtime and see some of these false allegations and assumptions about me having to do something or having something to do with her abduction would have me discouraged at times, but I didn't give up and kept my faith. I just want to thank all of my family, friends, former teammates, and church members who are called, texted me, just to let me know they are praying for me, for her and me. You guys don't know how much you meant to me or that meant to me. All I ask from everyone right now is to be respectful of Carlee's situation. She was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper. And that's in this very moment. I'm sorry. I also wanted to thank the people on social media who has been understanding and respectful about what she's been through in these past few days. Once again, I can't thank you guys enough for helping us bring Carlee home. God bless you all. Let me just say this, y'all. First of all, this whole case is weird. It's all weird. Nothing is adding up and nothing makes sense. And I don't think that it's fair for people to just say, well, okay, now she's back home, mind your business, and don't have a say-so on it or don't have an opinion on it. Nothing about this adds up. And it's not about not protecting black women, because I am always pro-protect black women. But when something doesn't feel right or sound right, people have a right to question it. When it pertains to the boyfriend, it seems like between him and the parents, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know, because a lot of this is so weird. This whole thing is very, very weird. None of the evidence is adding up to the story. None of it is making common sense. And it seems like people are just in a rush to hush people and tell them, hey, just don't say anything because it's disrespectful, or you must don't care anyway. And that's so unfair. It really is. This case has garnered a lot of attention. And one of the things that I read to you guys earlier was somebody stating that this got way out of hand and it escalated, and then she didn't want the attention. I'm not saying that that's fact, but it sounds more logical than this whole story. I'm just being completely honest. It seems as if everybody's giving not even half truths, like a quarter of a truth, and just throwing in a whole bunch of other stuff and just throwing it at the wall to see what sticks. And ultimately, this will be investigated because, like I said, this made national attention. National news. People were all over this, and the people of the city that actually went out and put boots to the ground, they have every right to know what happened and what was going on. And you gotta know this. They're definitely gonna get to the bottom of this, child. all the conspiracy theories that I read to you guys, I'm not sure if all that's true. All that's all alleged. That's all other people's opinions. But I'm just stating my opinion on how I feel. And as black folk, I wish that we would get to a point where we would stop asking people for prayers and then telling people to mind their business when they want to know why, or when they have more questions and ask more questions. We do it when people are unalive in our community all the time. Everybody wants prayers, but then when you ask them what's going on, it's, oh, well, you know, that's private between the family. Give the family time. No, don't ask for my prayers if you don't want me to ask no questions. And that's just that. But anyway, I'm going to leave y'all with this one girl from this TikTok who said what she said. I guess she had called the conspiracy or called it weird from the very, very beginning. And she had some things to say. And I want y'all to see this and basically let me know what y'all think. I personally am glad that she's home, but now you've opened up another can of worms because now people are going to start digging. Anyway, I'm going to leave y'all with that TikTok. Please, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok per usual. And I will see y'all later. And leave your comments down there in the comment section and let me know what y'all think. Bye. And basically let me know what y'all think. I personally am glad that she's home, but now you've opened up another can of worms because now people are going to start digging. Anyway, I'm going to leave y'all with that TikTok. Please, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok per usual. And I will see y'all later. And leave your comments down there in the comment section and let me know what y'all think. Bye.
Prove me to be wrong, baby. Because we still waiting. And my shirt says protect black women, just in case everybody's sitting here saying all they got to say about my video. I said what I said. She took that hot ass wig off and she staged that. And she didn't think that she was going to make the headlines the way that she did. So she took her ass home. Who dropped her off at home? The toddler did? Because where's the toddler at? Y'all kills me, okay? I said what I said. I'm not changing how I feel about it. And I'm out.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.